Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. I'm Arunashri. I'm thrilled to share my second lecture with you all. First of all, thank you for joining with me today. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notification so you never miss out of any upcoming lectures and discussion. Now let's get started. Our second lecture will be features of Java. Java has an advanced internet features. It can run many years and nowadays also most of the companies using Java. Due to the more community in Java, we can find the solution for multiple problems in less amount of time, and it has a powerful features like simple, secure, portable, object-oriented, robust. Java is a simple language because with a simple statement we can easily solve the task. And Java is a secure language. Java can support the firewall, so we have a more security in Java. Other users can't use the Java code without the actual user permission. Next, Java is a portable language. We can transfer the compiler code with different devices and we'll get the output in a different devices. Then object oriented. It is a concentration on a functions or a task will be decreased and more concentrating on a object. So the program complexity will obviously decreases. It will take the less amount of the time to execute. And robust. The name itself says that Java is a strong programming language and Java will support the powerful features. It mainly support to the exception handling and memory management. Half of the errors can be handled by the system itself. That feature will be provided by the Java and remaining half can be handled by the user. In some cases, middle of the code having some errors at that time, except that error, Java will execute all lines of the code so that Java will support more for the exception handling. Next, memory management. Memory management will be 100% automatic. In C and C++, we need to allocate the memory externally and also deallocate the memory externally. But in Java, if we declare any variable or a value, it will allocate the memory based on the data type automatically. For example, int will contain the 2 bytes of the data. It will allocate the memory based on that byte. Then whenever the reference count will reaches to the 0, it will deallocate that variable so that the deallocation value will be stored in the garbage. Hence we can call them as a garbage collection. In C we use the pointers for the memory management, but in Java automatically it will include the pointers. Okay, then we don't include the pointers in Java. It will automatically allocate the memory for each and every variable. Then Java is a multi-threaded. Why? In C and C++, only one thread can start and that thread can end the process. Then only the another thread will start its execution. But in Java, if one task will stuck in the middle, the another task will start executing. Then the another task, then the another task. Like that, it is move on. And multi-threads can run parallelly so that CPU can save a lot of time while executing. Then architectural neutral means architectural neutral is nothing but a platform independent. Platform independent base only depend on a JVM. During the compile time, we get the output, right? That output will be in the form of a bytecode or a dot class file. We can run that code in many devices in the form of dot class file. Hence, we called it as a platform independent. Because of the JVM, we called it as a platform independent. Then interrupted. JVM contains the interruption. Due to the slow performance, JVM will include the JIT form. JIT is nothing but just in time. To compile the code, we'll get the output as a bytecode, and that code to execute with the help of JVM, it was interrupted. Then high performance. In JVM, we introduced the another compiler called JIT, right? So that JIT compiler helps to run fastly. So we call it as Java will be a high performance. Then distributed. It can handle the distributed networking protocols. Some of the protocols are like TCP, IP, UDP. So it can handle the networking protocols and it will always support it. Next topic will be JVM, Java Virtual Machine. The name itself says that virtually we will take the code and we will run that bytecode in a different devices and we will get the same output in all those devices. Hence we call it Java Virtual Machine. Then Java Virtual Machine will contain a symbolic language in the form of bytecode. So that bytecode will only understandable by the JVM. For example, we will take a Java file. That Java file can contain the code. So that code will be compiled and it will give the output as a bytecode or a dot class file. And then we will execute with the help of JVM. We'll get the output. So this is a JVM architecture. In this JVM architecture, we'll take the 5 data areas. Okay, first we are inserting the dot class file into the class loader. So this class loader subsystem will give the data to the method area, heap, Java stack, PC register and native methods. Why we are including all these 5 means in method area complete code will be stored, but in heap each and every code can contain the separate memory areas. In Java stack we are storing the temporary data. Okay, in a stack and PC register, each method can store in the help of the index value to the address. So we are using the PC registers. Native method stack means any native codes like C and C++ can be stored in the native method stack. So move on to the execution process. In this we are using the interpreter and the JIT compiler to execute the program. And if in case any native methods like C and C++ will included in this data area, then that time we are using the native method interfaces and the libraries. So then the output will be given to the operating system. Then commands in a Java programming language. Mainly we are included here 3 commands. One is a single line command, multi-line command, documentation command. In single line command we are using the double slashes to write the code, but in multi-line command we are using the single line slash and the star. So at the end of the code we are using star and the slash, but in documentation command we are using one slash and double star. To end that command we are using star and slash. Then why we use this command line? To understand or to pause or stop the execution. So we can modify the program wherever we want. That time understandability will increases. And for temporary execution we can use the command lines, or for the description of a code we are using the command lines, right? To stop or pause the execution, to understand neatly the entire program we are using the command lines. Then move on to the first program in Java. This is a simple program in a Java, that is class name. Here the class name will be stored in the form in a class, and public static void main and string argues. So this is a code will be stored inside the flower braces. .java extension is used to create the file. We can use the Java in a notepad or a node++ to write the code. So complete Java program will be stored within a class and within a body of a class. All the data will be stored. Each and every line within a Faber braces only it can store. Java is a purely object oriented, so it will store the data within a class. Here Java program will start with the main method. With the presence of main method only Java will execute its code. JVM first it will search main method to execute the program. Then file name as a same as a class name. Then only the JVM will execute the class. JVM searches the file name equals to class name. Then that time it will find the main method to continue the program. For the compilation of the Java, we are using the javac.program name, and for execution we are using the Java program name. And here Java is a case sensitive. Case sensitive means camel case, lower case, upper case. It is a case sensitive. Inside the main method we will write the code obviously. So here public, why we are using means it will affect to the security, right? Public means, but to start the main method execution we use the public. Then inside it we can use the private to protect our data. Then static. To access the class or a method, first we need to create an object. Then only we access the method. So we need to make that object will be static. We are using the term static. Then void means it helps to return the value. In some cases we use it to return the statement explicitly. So here we are using the void return statement in mainly only for void does not return any value, any other values. So string arguments is nothing but it will take the input parameter, then to store the parameter in some area called as the argues, and it will include at the square braces. To print the output we are using the system.out.println. Okay, so like you can see we are using a print statement, right? So like that. In compilation, we are using javac. While compiling the file in the form of a dot class, in these it will display the errors. If the errors in our program is there, means we need to check the code again and again and started the compilation. If in case we don't have any errors, then dot class file will be generated automatically. Then by using the two-step process, we need to execute dot class file by using the JVM. In execution, we are directly giving the Java and with the program name. Then we will get the output easily. Next, introduction to the procedure-oriented programming language. It mainly depends upon the task. For example, C and C++. I mean to tell that it is mainly focusing on a task. It will follow a sequential steps, and based on the function, it will execute the task. It's okay, but when we have a complex program, that time we need to separate the program into a small task, right? So totally the procedure oriented program mainly concentrating on a task. For that we can follow some steps to solve the task or functions. So some of the problems in a POPs like understandability and maintainability, security, reusability. Understandability and maintainability, what is this? Means if you want to get any errors in the middle of the program, we don't know where the error will be. So to lack of understandability, we are telling that it is one of the problem in the POPs. Then security. Here any variable can access any value. No security for variable because it is a globally accessed and here security is a very less. Reusability means no code reusability in the POP because some code will be executed earlier in same program, but that code can't be used again and again while we are writing the same concept. So it is one of the problem. To overcome that problem, they are introducing the object oriented programming language. Okay, it is mainly focusing on object and the class. And to add the class and some extra features in the POP, then that will be reduced the program complexity automatically. Even it is a time consuming will be the POP. Each class having their own object, which class we want we can use easily and we can access it. Which file we want to modify, we can call them and we can make the modification in that. It is easily understandable, and the Java will be a high security, and reusability means we can reuse the code many times wherever we want. Here the developer can save a lot of time by reusing the same code while executing. So there are mainly three features which is responsible to popular this object oriented programming language. One is this object oriented programming language is near to the real world. It means let's consider we all are objects. If we want any of this like a class, by communicating we can exchange them. By communicating we can exchange the object. Next, class and object using Java. So class defines the definition of an object. Class is an imaginary and object is a real. Let us take a real world example for the class and objective, that is human being in a class. Or you may take a car, or you may take a bike, you may take a cat. So these are the example, but here I am using the human being. So objectives like Aruna, Chandana, some Kavya, etc. So let's discuss how by using the class and object, how we can create a program by using this class and object. So mainly class is a model. It will specify the definition of an objective, right? Objects. It will define the definition of an object. It will mainly contain properties and actions. For example, human beings. What and all the properties have? He has a human being have a name, age, qualification. Actions are like walking, talking, eating, running. Then only it belongs to a human being, right? Then properties is nothing but variable. We can call the properties as variable, state, data, like that. Actions are also nothing but methods, behavior, like that. Next, all the objectives are combined, then only we call it as a class. A class is nothing but a set of objects. For example, combining of all the students in a single class called as a class. Then here we are taking the example that class human being, properties are variables. We are adding two properties, that is a name and the age. So these are two properties of a human. And actions, what and all he will do, talk, walking. So this is an example for the method, right? Then object. Object is nothing but a real-time entity. It means it is one of the instance of a class. it need to satisfy all the properties. In above example, we satisfy the class. How we can satisfy the object here? How can we create an object? Here we are using class name dot object equals to new class name, right? Object can be created automatically. For that object, memory allocation also created with the memory address, and it will assign in the form of a hash code. So that hash code will assign the address for the memory allocation. All the objectives will come into a single class. This is a single class like name, age, talk, work. That output of that objectives will come into a single class with the presence of hash code also. Now variables are called instances. Now variables are called instances and methods are called instance methods. So the second circle will be the output for entire program. So we'll see it later. Each and every objective has its own name and age and action style and also a different talk, walking, and also we can call them as a methods, as a instance. Instantly we will allocate the memory for that. Okay, then how we allocate the name here? For example, taking a name as a Aruna, right? So human Aruna equals to new human. That name will link the particular objective. That objective will be the human. Okay, now if we want to give any value for the objective like name and the age, for that we are using the dot operator here. Aruna dot name equals to something name you need to give. Some age will be like 35. If whether Aruna will be walk or whether Aruna will talk. So like that. So this is how we'll need to set the value for each objective like that. If we want to call the methods, we are using the dot property only, Aruna dot talk, Aruna dot walk. For example, if we create another object like this is another object, human will be Shri and the new human. Here it is automatically created a class and allocate the separate memory that will assign to the hash code. Then that Shri object will be liking to the class, and then now that object can have a separate name and separate method. Then if we want to allocate any values, means we will assign the value to it here. We will assigning the value for the Shri, right? Name, age, talk, work. Okay, so we call it as a instantive variables and the method. Okay, to adding the main method, here we are using the another class, that is class object example public static void main string argues, then it is a code, right? Here in the first class we would like to in first class we know that we need to assign the same class name as a file name, right? But now we have three classes, so that we are assigning the main method class as an object example to a file name, creating an object. Okay, that's all today class. Thank you.